and then you can just leave the extraction off, and then go to start. Basically, your workflow is up here, so you kind of like create your mask, you specify your extraction area, you make any sort of adjustments that you need to, and then you have your results. So the system automatically highlights everything it thinks that you're interested in. You can always double check by toggling up and down this transparency right here. You can also just turn on and off the display really quickly. But once you have everything kind of highlighted that you want, even if it's maybe a little bit too much than you want or not enough, I'd say just go with it until, or get it to as close as it can be, and then go to next. Because here's where you do all of your adjustments. One thing I always do, remove unwanted areas. This button right here, remove areas at the edge of screen. Super useful because, you know, for this right here, this one right here, it's half in, half out of the field of view. Your area is going to be off, so your data is going to be off. So it just gets rid of that to begin with. If you go to the details tab, feel free to click through all of these and see what they do. I mean, expanding and shrinking, I'm sure you guys can kind of guess what that does to it. Inverting, so basically, let's say I wanted to count the space in between all this the nucleus here that I didn't really care for, you know, you can do that. Fill holes, you know, if it's not filling in the entire tissue, but you know that that's part of the tissue that's kind of being surrounded, fill holes will take care of that. Deburring right here, if you have all these like different little scattered pixels that you don't want to count, you'll be able to adjust that and get rid of each, you know, like pixel kind of like by, you know, certain levels. Fill cracks, it's kind of like filling holes, but it's filling cracks. And then select on histogram. A lot of people take advantage of this because you can set your size and circularity, kind of like axis or perimeter exclusions as well. Under here, if you also go back to remove unwanted areas, so remove areas at the edge screen is what I showed you, but you can also just click right on any, so if I click on this little area right here, it's going to highlight this little nucleus and every other piece of artifact or debris or nucleus that has this area or smaller, and get rid of them. So then you go to next. Actually, one other thing I want to show too. So these two little nuclei right here are obviously stuck together, probably because they're overexposed, but we can clearly tell that there's two there. If you just go to separate areas and just bring this all the way up, renders them two different colors so that you know they're going to be giving you the most accurate count possible. They go back to the same color, but I mean, if you go to details and go to random color, if that helps you visualize things better, then there you go. Go to next. 72 of them in here. If you go to measure result, let's say I'm curious about what the data is for this specific little nuclei here. If I click on it, it brings me right to it. Same way as if I click here and I can find, so this one right here, because it's the highlight color. So no, I lied, this is the highlight color because it goes from top to bottom, so I know number 3 is somewhere near the top. So I'd recommend if you're curious about the specific data per, you know, cell, nucleus, whatever it is, just to click on it here and it'll actually bring you right to here. You can save these results that are exported as a CSV file. All these brightness and intensity measurements are all listed right here. If you don't know what, actually I'll show you this real quick. If you don't know like what any of these really mean, don't worry about it, because you can go to measurement items right here. And if you click on these right here, it's actually going to give you the quick definition of what that actually means. So this is really good for people who don't use microscopes that often. If you're looking for different types of counts, but you're not really sure what you're looking for, this will give you a quick idea. Same with all these ones here. So this is what we're looking at, and this is all the other information that we can add in to get more data out if we want to. So again, if you go to save results, you can save it as a CSV file. You have all that data there for you. My favorite thing about this system is if you go to save conditions, you can save the exact same quantification conditions to how we just counted this one image. Save it as a quantification file. So right now we're going to call this training count. Alright, so I'm going to save it right to my desktop. So I'm going to X out of this. I'm going to go right back to hybrid cell count though. And then instead of doing anything up here, I'm going to start down here. So I'm going to go macro cell count. So it's a 3-step process. So you find your conditions file, so training, open. And then you add in your files here. You can actually add in up to 400 files right here. Click run, and it's going to count all of those files with the exact same settings that we just used to count this one file here. So I know when I'm working at some of the bigger universities, the counting and the quantification is a job that gets designated to undergrads or grad students, so they don't have to do it anymore. So yeah, that's just pretty much how that runs.